Every morning, he woke up with a heavy feeling in his chest. The new day had just started, but he was already tired, as if every day was the same as the one before. Outside, the city was slowly waking up. A few buses were moving on the empty streets, the first people were walking to work, the tea shop was opening, just like every day. Life went in a circle home, work, home. But the most important things happened inside him. There was always a voice. It was not loud, but it never stopped. It blamed him for every small mistake and every step. It made him believe he was never good enough. Every morning he stood up with this weight, got ready in a hurry, and went out onto the same streets. Around him, the crowd was living its own life. Some people were rushing to tall buildings, others were hurrying to the construction site, tourists were taking photos of the first sun on the glass towers. And even among them, the voice did not stop. Look at them. They have achieved more than you, and you will waste this day again. He came to the office already tired, not from work, but from his own thoughts. For others, he looked normal, calm and focused. Nobody saw how tired he felt inside. At work, there were moments that could bring joy, but every time he wanted to feel it, the voice inside blamed him again. Sometimes he stayed late so a colleague could finish a project. One day, when they were sitting together in the quiet office, the colleague smiled and said, "Listen, thank you. Without you, I could not do it. You know what? Come to my birthday tonight. We will have fun, and I will introduce you to my friends." He was silent for a moment and thinking. The voice inside rose again. "Why go there? You will not find anything to talk about. You will sit quiet and feel you don't belong." But he gathered his strength and agreed politely. All day he was fighting with this enemy inside, which kept whispering negativity to him. But he remembered he had given his word, and in the evening he came to the birthday. The room was full of laughter, music, and voices. People were hugging each other, dancing, and enjoying the moment. He tried to smile too, but the voice inside spoke again. "Look around. These people achieved more. They have the right to celebrate. And what about you? What did you do today to deserve joy?" He watched how people were happy together, and he felt he was outside. It seemed to him that he had no right to be among them. He asked himself, "Am I good enough to be happy?" And every time the answer was the same: no. After the party, he walked home, still under the weight of these thoughts. And suddenly he heard someone call his name. He turned. It was the same colleague who had gone out to say goodbye to guests and caught up with him on the way. "I noticed you all evening," the colleague said softly. "You looked sad. What happened?" The man sighed, looked away, and after a pause said, "You know, sometimes it feels like someone else lives inside me, and he always blames me, always tells me I am not enough. It gives me no peace." The colleague looked at him and after a short pause said, "Maybe you think you don't try enough and that you don't deserve to be happy. But I see it different. At work, many of us think you are one of the best. You know your job well. You think carefully before you decide, and very often your answer is the right one. Don't you see it yourself?" He shrugged and looked down. The colleague continued more softly, "And your second voice? Does it not tell you that you are fair to others? Do you remember the story with the cleaner? They wanted to blame her unfairly and sent her away. But without you, it would end badly. We all remember that." "That was nothing," he said quietly. "Anyone would do the same." "But it was you who did it," the colleague said firmly. He was silent, thinking, as if for the first time he allowed himself to believe these words. The colleague smiled a little and continued, "And how can you deny this? One of my friends, I think he is your neighbor, told me he often saw you helping an old man who had no family. You helped him with his problems, even when no one else cared. And that is why I am glad to have you as my colleague. You really deserve more in this life." He froze. The voice inside tried to take this away. "He is only polite. It means nothing." But the words sounded too honest, too clear to push away. He suddenly saw all this time he was doing things that mattered to others, but he never allowed himself to admit it. And in that moment, a new voice spoke inside him, not blaming but warm. Your life has meaning. You make mistakes, like all people, but it doesn't make you worse. You have already done many good things, even if you don't see them. Let yourself see this. We often think that if we blame ourselves, we will become stronger. But in truth, it only makes us weaker, steals our joy, and makes every day harder. You don't need to be perfect to have value. You are much more than your doubts about yourself. And if you ever hear a voice inside saying, "You are nothing," remember, it's only a trick that lies to you. The truth is, you have another voice, the one that tells you you deserve to live and to be happy.